Hello and welcome to CBA News in Brief with me, Abdillahi Hassan. The lawmakers of Somalia's northeastern Puntland state have voted the Speaker Abdikareem Mohamed Ahmed Dooba out of office following an impeachment motion against him. Announcing the result of the vote, the Deputy House Speaker Abdillahi said 49 MPs out of 53% voted for the impeachment motion against Ahmed during today's session in Garowe city. The Speaker had been in office for just under a year after his election in early January 2019. They accused him of violating the constitution and mobilizing Calanka forces at the Parliament building. The Deputy Speaker Abdillahi had told a media conference that the Speaker had created divisions in the House and was the source of the no-confidence motion that had been filed against the regional president Saeed Abdullahi Deni. But in an earlier interview, the Speaker alleged that Puntland had been taken hostage by one clan, which was forcing the rest out of Garowe town. He argued that all clans had a right to live in Garowe. On Wednesday, 4 people were killed, including 2 soldiers in Garowe, the capital city of Puntland, in a standoff to impeach the Speaker. The Parliament is expected to pick a new Speaker in the coming 14 days, according to Abdillahi, who has today appointed a 7-member committee to spearhead the forthcoming election. More than 100 Somali Army soldiers graduated on Wednesday from the UK-funded training camp in Berbera. According to a statement from the British Embassy in Mogadishu, 134 soldiers completed the 2-month training, which covered fieldcraft, leadership, human rights, first aid treatment, patrolling, and delivering a defensive operation. The training also aimed at enhancing the soldiers' current capabilities. Speaking during the pass-out ceremony, UK Ambassador to Somalia Ben Fender said the skills acquired by the soldiers will go a long way in bolstering Somalia's long-term security. He reiterated his country's commitment to building Somalia's security architecture. Ambassador Fender said separately in a tweet that the training academy was expected to train a full company in 8 to 12 weeks and train a whole parakeet for 450 by next year May. The commander for the British forces in Somalia, Colonel J.L. Benham, noted the training was a joint Somalian and British project with the objective of contributing towards peace in Somalia. He noted that it is their professionalism and dedication that has made this possible, and it is they who will help ensure the Somali people will experience peace and prosperity in the years to come. Southwest State President Laftagram thanked the UK government's support and urged the soldiers to put the skills acquired into good use. In a statement, he said, and I quote, "I urge all of you to work hard and protect our country. Please implement the lessons you have learned during the training and pass on the knowledge to your colleagues. I would also like to thank the UK government for providing support to the Somali people." End of quotes. Somali leaders from northeastern Kenya, including 2 governors and 24 members of parliament, yesterday rejected the population census results, terming them as crooked figures. They are demanding that the results should be withdrawn immediately. The leader is led by National Assembly Majority Leader Aadan Yabaal, claiming that the Kenyan National Bureau of Statistics used pre-census mapping data instead of the August enumeration outcome. The leader is calling for investigation to establish why the agency did not use the actual data from enumeration. Majority Leader Aadan Yabaal said they have instructed a team of lawyers to study the figures before proceeding to court next week to compel the agency to open its servers for public scrutiny and for quality assurance audit. Yabaal said it was suspect that some sub-counties in the region recorded negative growth in the last 10 years, which contradicts its basic principle population growth statistics and published regional fertility rate. The leader is from Mandera, Garissa, and what she described the figures released on Monday as false, and pointed fingers at unnamed senior government officials whom they accused of staging a well-choreographed scheme to reduce the resources meant for the three counties by suppressing their numbers. The foreign ministries of Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sudan have agreed to work toward resolving their dispute over the filling and operation of a massive dam project in Ethiopia by January 2020. The ministries said they would attend further meetings in Washington on December 9th and January 13th to assess progress in their negotiations. This came in a joint statement released after U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin hosted talks to work out differences over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Egypt fears the filling of the dam reservoir on the Blue Nile tributary will restrict already scarce supplies of water from the Nile. Egypt is almost entirely dependent on the Nile. Ethiopia says the hydroelectric dam, which will be Africa's largest, is crucial to its economic development. Water ministers of the three countries will hold 4 meetings in Washington, attended by the U.S. Treasury and World Bank, according to the joint statement. The statement further said if an agreement is not reached by January 15, 2020, the foreign ministries agreed that Article 10 of the 2015 Declaration of Principles will be invoked. Such a move would require an international mediator to help resolve the dispute. Earlier, the United States President Donald Trump said a meeting that he held with the Egyptian, Ethiopian, and Sudanese delegations went well. In their joint statement, the foreign ministers of the three African countries reaffirmed the significance of the Nile to the development of the people of Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sudan, the importance of transboundary cooperation, and their shared interest in concluding an agreement. Sudan's first ever satellite to carry out research in military, economic, and space technology has been launched by China. The announcement was made by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, head of Sudan's Sovereign Council, during a meeting with his top security officials held in the capital Khartoum. The satellite aims to develop research in space technology, acquire data, as well as discover natural resources for the country's military needs. China's state news agency reported that the Sudan remote sensing satellite was launched on Sunday from the northern China province of Shanxi. The satellite will be monitored from Sudan in the coming few months. Sudan, which is battling an economic crisis, has been involved in national space program for decades, covering activities such as remote sensing and geoinformatics. Sudanese former President Omar al-Bashir established the Institute of Space Research and Aerospace in the year 2013 as part of an overall plan to develop space technologies. Kenya has agreed to share the disputed Migingo Island with Uganda. This comes even as the Kenyan government maintains that the island is in Kenya. Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Monica Juma on Wednesday said they had signed a memorandum of understanding with Ugandan authorities to enable fishermen and other Lake Victoria users to access either side of the boundary. The Migingo Rock Island is heavily contested by Kenya and Uganda that both claim ownership. It is densely populated island which is barely a quarter of hectare large. In a statement, Cabinet Secretary Monica Juma said, "What is left now is to set modalities for access management and sharing of resources." Concerning where the agreement will define where the island legally belongs, Ms. Juma said that Kenyans must know that territorial integrity of the country will never be negotiated away. It was in the early 2000s when the island was barely inhabited that it began drawing the attention of the Ugandan authorities, who sent officials to Migingo to tax fishermen and offer protection against pirates. Kenyan fishermen in return began complaining they were being shaken down by the Ugandans in their own waters and chased from the island. They called on Kenya's government, which deployed security forces to Migingo in a move that nearly brought the two nations to blows in 2009. That's our news brief. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for our full news bulletin with Wangi Gugi.